Hi, I'm Julia and this is my shed. So today's job is to finish off the mounting of the brakes. So I need to drill 2 mounting holes in the bracket. I need to shorten these bolts so that we can attach the top, and then we need to mount everything into the chassis and try and get everything adjusted. Luckily I managed to find some bolts the right size. And now I'm adding the clevis to the operating rod and bolting it to the bracket. So this is the brake mount in position. So what I've got to do now is get this nicely centralised and spot through these holes. And then I can take it off the chassis and drill them on the drill press. I'm using toolmaker's clamps to get it into the final position. If you haven't got some already, I'd definitely recommend either making or buying a set in a few different sizes. They really do come in handy. I forgot to press record, but what I've done is just spot through each hole with the clearance drill. Just so there's a dimple in the where the position of each hole is going to be. Another awkward clamping setup. So I've got 2 parallels in the vise which supports the flat area underneath the holes. So I've moved one to about here so I can drill this first hole. So I'll just have to be a bit careful when I'm moving these around. But it's also supported with a jack there as well, so we should be okay. Okay, so I've clamped it back in position, and what I'm going to do is use this stretcher as a tapping guide. I've got the holes nicely centralised, so what I'm going to also use is a little bit of IPA as a lubricant, because it's a bit less messy than using WD-40. So yeah, just carry on with doing a bit of tapping. That's us all the way through. Okay, so that's the bracket mounted. Obviously aluminium is a bit garish, so I think we'll take that out now, and we'll probably spray the whole assembly, and then it's all ready to go into the loco. So as you can see, that will match up with the first pull rod. I haven't adjusted the pull rods yet, so we'll come back to that shortly. And that's the end one. So we are getting there. So we've got the primer coat on. Couldn't quite get rid of all the blue marking fluid, so that's gone all over the show. But I don't think that will show up once we get the black on, so no harm there, I don't think. Okay, so that's the black paint nice and dry now, so we'll get this attached to the loco. Luckily I managed to find the right countersink screws for this part. Next job was to attach the clevis bolt and the Scotch crank bolts. This was quite fiddly actually, so a bit awkward. There's not much room to get your fingers in, but we got there in the end. I've adjusted this rod so that when the piston's about halfway through its stroke, these are nice and tight, so the first brake shoes are working. If I apply a bit of pressure, you can see that the wheels are not moving very easily. So that's the first section done. I now need to adjust the other two sections, see if we can get them to come all on at the same time, which might be a bit fiddly. So these threaded rods have just a normal right hand thread on them. In an ideal world you'd have a reverse thread on one end of it, so you could tighten it up like a turnbuckle. So I had to sort of compromise a bit with the adjustments. Okay, so that's the brakes fully installed. I've adjusted them as best I can. If I put full pull back on where the brake piston actuates, the centre wheel is locked. The front axle has some friction but not a lot, and the rear one isn't touching at all. That was kind of the best I could do. I figured it'd be best to have the brake in the middle axle. So I don't know, maybe if those wear a little bit over time, perhaps that'll come in a bit more. But as I think these are more for show than anything really. You'd use the train brakes if you wanted to stop the loco. So, but yeah, I think that's all done. I'll pan you across so you can see a bit better. So we've got the brake piston there, and then there's all the linkages. So that's the brakes all done now, so I'm really pleased with that. I've got a couple of little jobs to finish up on the chassis, which I probably won't film. But then we're on to doing all the timing gear, which is going to be quite a lot more interesting, hopefully. So I'm quite looking forward to that. So I hope you enjoyed that. Like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.